Welcome back to another ukulele tutorial. I'm Lara, and today I'm going to walk you through a beautiful chord melody for Amazing Grace. I created this arrangement so that it alternates between playing chords and finger-picking individual notes. We'll walk through it step by step. The tablature will be on screen, and it's also available to download as a PDF from my Patreon page. You'll find the link down in the video description. I'll start off by playing this melody so you can hear how it sounds. Then we'll move into the tutorial and walk through all 3 lines of the tablature. Then I'll play through the melody once more with the tabs on screen so you can play along with me. Now we're moving into our tutorial. There are a few things that I want to point out. The first is that this arrangement is for low G tuning. The next is that when you see a squiggly arrow next to a chord, that represents an arpeggio. An arpeggio is simply a broken chord. So instead of strumming the chord, we're going to play through it slowly so that each string rings out. Because this is a chord melody, the highest note in the chord is going to be the melody note. For example, if we play a C chord across all 4 strings, then the first string will be the highest note, therefore the melody note, and we want to try to play that string the loudest when we play that arpeggio. If our chord only goes down to the 2nd string, then we want to try to play the 2nd string the loudest, because that will be our melody note. Now let's move into the tablature and I'll walk you through how to play this melody. We're starting off playing the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. I'm playing this with my middle finger, and then next I'm moving to my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. This is our C chord. You want to play this so that the 1st string really rings out so you hear that C note. Next I'm moving up to the 7th fret of the 1st string, still with my ring finger. Now I'm placing down my middle finger on the 6th fret of the 2nd string to play the next chord, which is C7. Next I'm using my ring finger to move down to the 5th fret of the 1st string. Now that we've moved through a few measures, let's talk about the rhythm of this song. The time signature for this song is 3/4 time, which means there are 3 quarter notes for every measure, or 3 beats per measure. So the rhythm is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Throughout the song, in almost every measure, we start the measure with a chord, and then we follow it with an individual note. The chord is held for 2 beats, and the note is held for 1 beat. So each measure is 1, 2 on the 1st chord or 1st note, and 3 on the note that follows it. So the rhythm here is 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now let's continue with measure 4. The next chord is an F chord with a C note added on. You can play this with your standard F chord fingering, and I like to use my pinky to play the 3rd fret of the 1st string. The C note is what carries the melody here. Next we have an open 1st string, and then we have a C chord variation. We're playing the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and we're playing this chord stopping at the 2nd string. Keeping our middle finger in place, we'll pick the second string and then go back to our regular C chord. Now we move up to the 7th fret of the first string once more, but this time with our pinky. And now to form an A minor chord, we're going to place down our index and middle fingers on the 5th fret of the 2nd and 4th strings. Now I'm moving back to the 5th fret of the first string with my ring finger, and then I'm going all the way up to the 10th fret. I'm going to bar the 10th fret across all 4 strings, and I'm also going to use my middle finger on the 11th fret of the 3rd string. If you have trouble with this bar chord, try angling your index finger to the side. This way you'll hit the strings more with your knuckles rather than with the soft pads of your finger. After we play our bar chord, we're going to pick the 4th string, the 3rd string, and then place our ring finger on the 10th fret of the 1st string. For our next chord, we'll keep our ring finger in place and play all 4 strings. Then we'll go down to the 7th fret of the 1st string with our ring finger. And we're going back to our C7 chord, so placing down our middle finger on the 6th fret of the 2nd string. Then we're going to the 5th fret of the 1st string with our ring finger. And back to our F chord with the added C note. Next we'll pick our open 1st string, and then we're going back to our partial chord down to the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Then we pick the 2nd string. Next we're going to an A minor chord with an added C note. So this is our regular A minor chord, playing the 2nd fret of the 4th string. I'm also using my ring finger to play the 3rd fret of the 1st string that carries the melody. Next I'm moving up to the 7th fret of the 1st string, and then I'm playing a bar chord across all 4 strings on the 7th fret. This is a G7 chord, and I like to use my middle finger for additional pressure against my index finger. This helps me to get a cleaner sound. Now I'm going back to the 5th fret of the 1st string with my ring finger, then back to our F chord with an added C. Holding on to this chord, I'm going to pick the 2nd string, and then release my F chord, keep my pinky down, and we're finishing on a C chord. If you're enjoying this tutorial, please give this video a thumbs up, and thank you so much for subscribing. Now I'm going to play this melody for you once more, this time with the tabs on screen so you can play along with me. If you'd like to slow down the tempo of the play along, then you can change the playback speed of the video down in the video settings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hope you've enjoyed learning this beautiful melody. Have fun practicing, and thank you so much for watching.